The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your host. And of course, we've got the sacred and appointed time we meet.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And, well, we're going to probably continue this drip, I suspect, into Wednesday. That's when Chairman Powell talks. And then he has to go into his cave because they've got the 2 weeks before the meeting before or when they can actually speak. And, of course, that's like the 12th, 13th, 14th, 13th and 14th. I know it's Tuesday and Wednesday. Then you've got options expiration on that 16th. So I think most of the action in these markets going to be probably well over by the 20th, if not by the 16th of this month. Everybody's going to pick their horse and put their money down. But that's kind of it. I think if we're going to find any kind of low this week, it's probably going to be if he is in any way slightly more dovish than a statement of off with their heads. But, that's it. We saw the standard squeeze into the holiday with extremely light volume. That means that you don't have a lot of short sellers as we move to the downside, and why we have and are off about 1.4%. Yeah, 1.43% to be technically correct on the S&Ps. NASDAQ's off about almost the exact same. Crude oil's up 76 cents. Gold down $14. So kind of a wide range out there. Option market makers have been, and I don't see any changes so far today, are thinking in the low 380s on the SPY for the 16th. Now, that could still change, especially going into next week, where we get into the 8th day before options expiration. So when we look at old Mr. Calendar, who are running out of days for this year, what we see is Friday's the second, is the first day of first Friday next month, the 9th, and then the 16th. So the 7th of December will be the Delta neutral day. And that's, you get some good indications a lot of times already from option market makers. But my guess is that they believe something bad is going to happen. And it's not going to get any better, mostly on maybe a train strike or something else. But they are not happy. They don't ever tell you what they dislike or what they fear on lower prices, but they do tell you that they are hedged out into that low 380 area. Maybe it doesn't get all the way there, but there isn't a lot of cheerish Christmas spirit in the option market makers. Powell, of course, talks on Wednesday. That'll be the end of the Fed talk until the 14th, which is that Wednesday before expiration. That's probably going to have a lot of volatility in it. Gambling stocks, as we said, a lot of them popped fairly well. I think most people are pointing at Wynn. We'll pop that up quickly. Who got all of them in Macau got another 10 years of license. But what do they have? They have no customers. No one can come in. And, of course, everybody finally talking about China. I think my last word as we went into the end of the show on Wednesday was watch out for China. Between this and Apple, let's take a quick look at that. At least the numbers I've seen so far say somewhere between 6.5 and 7 million iPhones have not been made over the protests of the Chinese government. And who would have thought? A country that's got 100 million slaves, 5-10 million genocide victims a year. Yeah, that's not the Chinese government I know. No. They're much better than that. They're paragons of virtue, but we continue to deal with them and flail ourselves for stuff that happened hundreds of years ago while we do business with people that actually do all the horrific stuff that we witnessed many years ago at a much greater scale and don't talk much about. But I think it's finally, you get to kind of that tipping point where you can't ignore what's going on any longer. And of course, a lot of the companies that are huge virtue signaling kind of companies like Nike or Apple, some of the other companies that use huge amounts of slave labor, like the solar stocks, down a little bit today. Of course, there is a reason why solar panels are so much cheaper from China. And that is the labor, other than keeping them somewhat alive by giving them enough food and water to get by, basically made by slave labor. Down a little bit today, but not on much volume. Again, we can kind of ignore the man behind the curtain as long as we get what we think will save the world in the long term. But I do digress. 877-927-6648. Yeah, there's a lot going on there. So, and a lot to unpack. Anyway, see if there's anything else I wanted to talk about. I'm trying to remember the PDD. Actually, the only bright spot that I really found over in the Far East, as they like to say, and how come it's not the Far West? Isn't it closer? Isn't it the Far East farther away than the Far West if you left from our West Coast instead of our East Coast? Yeah, I do digress yet again. I've got to get a few more digressions and mixed metaphors in to cement my position at the TFNN Awards dinner, of course, Christmas Eve at that wonderful hotel down there in St. Pete when we have our awards show. Anyway, Pinduoduo, Duo. I've heard it about 100 different ways. Actually had some fairly good numbers for what they're doing, and when the lockdown was open for all of 5 minutes, actually sold a lot of stuff. They're up, but really just against resistance that goes back a ways. Let me go back here. They're going back to resistance on this gap down from November 11th of 2021, kind of pre the beginning of this year, when it started to fail. Anyway, down 24 million shares that day. We'll be back in a minute.
Currencies, commodities, and bond markets are as important as ever right now with how they're driving the volatility in equity markets across the globe, which is why it's a great time to try out Teddy Kegstad's Tiger Forex Report. Teddy Kegstad breaks down the Forex markets every Monday using his 30-plus years of experience as a trading veteran of futures, Forex, stocks, and options. Teddy releases his weekly Tiger Forex Report every Monday morning with coverage of all the major currency pairs, including the dollar index, the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar Swiss, dollar yen, as well as many more, and he also has weekly coverage of the crude oil market and the 30-year T-bonds, as they both influence Forex markets tremendously. When you sign up for the Tiger Forex Report, you also gain instant access to Teddy's 60-minute webinar archive he just hosted, Forex Strategies and Fundamentals, What is Behind the Tiger Forex Report. For all the details and to start your 30-day Tiger Forex Report subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month. And try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors. Are you looking for a way to consistently add winning trades to your portfolio? Tom O'Brien is here to help. Tom O'Brien has been successfully trading markets for over 30 years. A frequent contributor to TD Ameritrade Network and CNBC, Tom O'Brien founded TFNN over 20 years ago to help educate investors just like you. Tom's daily market newsletter, Market Insights, is published every morning when the markets open to give you the competitive informational edge you need to succeed. These newsletters are packed full of Tom's advanced technical analysis and are geared to deliver comprehensive strategies for a successful portfolio. Get Tom O'Brien's newsletter, Market Insights, today and try all of our products and newsletters 30 days risk-free with our money-back guarantee at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
And we're back. Discussion in the Tiger's Den. And somebody put in here something about Apple. Half of the flagship of Apple's phone is now made in India. So the question is, do they really have no production? No, they've got production. It's just half of it is gone, which I said in the long term may be better for them if they don't have as much leftover stock or too much stock going into Christmas. They gap down anyway, but so far fairly light volume, not kind of a blowout. Support for Apple would come in at about 139-ish. There's a double gap, and that is the gap up from the 9th of November. And let's see, yeah. You got the gap down from the 8th and the gap back up on the 9th. Into the 10th there. So that's probably a pretty good target, is about 139 on Apple. And let's see what else we have. Oh, let's do a little history, and then we'll move on.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1948, just in time for Christmas, shopping season, he said, 57 units of the first commercial instant camera, the Polaroid Land camera, Model 95, go on sale at the Jordan Marsh department store in Boston, producing sepia-toned photographs in about 1 minute. The Model 95 became a hit almost instantly. Polaroid is believed that 57 units would be enough to last through Christmas. All 57 units and all the film available were sold on the first day. Kind of almost 57 units is almost kind of laughable today, but I guess in post-war America, maybe that sounded like it was something big, but hey, not so much. But of course, the cameras were kind of making a retro comeback a few years ago, and someone was actually making them again, and certainly making the film for them again. But I don't know. I think that fizzled after about a year or two. But I digress. We're going to get in there and win. And, of course, you're all invited to write your name on your phone number and write those two on your address and send them to TFNN and get tickets to the Vinoy Christmas Eve for our giant awards ceremony at TFNN. Okay. What else do we have here? I'm looking at a few other things. Oh, yes, I will get to that right now. I've got a few emails. Of course, you can email me at path@tfnn.com. You can also put a message in the den or give me a call at 877-927-6648. Okay, so question is on Metamucil. Okay. Okay. Come on, Mr. Meta. What do I make of the giant fines? One of the things I've talked about every year, maybe a couple times a year, is the thing that's called the document dump, and it happens every week to a later extent or a more minor extent. That's Friday, right after the news gets ready to go to the 6:30 news headlines, and everybody wants to kind of avoid making it easy for them to report. And then by Monday, oh, you're talking about what happened on Friday. That's already happened. So anytime the government or people that maybe have done something a little illegal or other things, you know what? They try to make sure and get it out of the news as much as they can by dumping it in to after Friday, and that's a long time with things like documents and stuff like that. They just do it long enough that people can't really talk about it until Monday. Most people tune off the news over the weekend. Even bigger than that, of course, is the big weekend dump. That's on 3-day weekends in the summer into Christmas. If you got something, horrific, like a bunch of pedophiles working at your company, or satanic rituals. No, I don't have any direct links to Facebook on those issues. But if you are evil, as I do believe that many of these companies are inherently, you do have to kind of fess up. And of course, a huge another one of about 10 of giant settlements with Metamucil/Facebook. But what was most interesting to me is that the big ABC, NBC, CBS, CNBC, CNN, and even Fox, I think maybe spent 30 seconds and that was it, of the incredible evil that Meta Facebook admitted to in the settlement, and that was that they were buying your tax return information from many of these companies that do them online for free or at a discounted price. And of course, a real no-no. Now, if you listen to them, they go, well, they were anonymized, so that we didn't know exactly who they belonged to, except in the deep details. Yeah, there was a number on it, but was it easy to use a little bit of computing magic to figure out who owned all those? And of course, then they targeted and sold that data knowingly to advertisers and said, hey, we've got this nice, juicy bit of data over here. Look at this. Oh, it's good and juicy. These guys are going to get back 5 or 10 grand. Maybe you should be advertising your cars to those folks. And you can do it because, you know what? We've got their name and their Facebook account and their email. So you should pay up for this. And, of course, pretty illegal. But, just water under the bridge. We'll dump this stuff out on Wednesday or Friday. So really no one knows too much about what we do. And, of course, between now and then, China will erupt maybe there'll be a actual eruption like in Hawaii, and everybody will be distracted and will say, if they bring it up again, oh, that was so last week. Well, anyway, the evil that many of these Silicon Valley social media companies continually produce continues on. 877-927-6648. Okay. Yeah, that was the big one is from them, but that's what I was going to say, the from Europe. But yeah, these companies were not just doing anything. They were doing everything and just hoping that they could get away with it. We'll be back in a minute.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, JDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And with the overwhelming shadow of 87,000 new IRS agents, we now know where they're going to be targeted. There was probably an economy with the truth on what they were going after. But again, document dump over the weekend, we know what they're going after now. If you got more than $600 from, let's hear it, Vimo or any of the other apps, you made any of that money from these companies that paid via some of these transfer companies, they're going to be looking for your money. They put out a directive on Wednesday going into the weekend. And so, the thought was they're all going to go after people with earning more than $200,000 a year. My guess is that Uber and Lyft drivers are not those people that are earning a great deal more. So what we'll probably see is a lot of these folks track down over the next couple of years, and they probably kind of knew that they needed to pay income tax on it. But if you're probably Uber or Lyft driver, you're probably not filthy rich and making a few extra shekels. Probably didn't worry about it, but a major letter from the IRS saying that if you made money in any of these ways that a lot of people were making money under the table, I'd want to probably get in front of that and make sure that you do pay your taxes on it. But again, from one way or the other, many of the governors of many of the states have not been happy. They passed laws. What is it? LYFT, isn't it? Yeah. They passed laws, and of course, notably in California, the voters said "net," if you speak Russian. And so they're going after all these folks yet a different way. A lot of people I know that were doing this for a while figured out that it wasn't a way to make a lot of money. They were just really paying for it in their car and getting the money back. But none of these look good. The only thing that you can say is on Lyft's behalf that you are coming into this November 8th low with 81 million shares today with about 6.6 million shares. So the only good thing may be that you're getting to the end of the road with these rideshare companies and maybe finding some kind of low when all the bad news is finally in. But I don't know. If you've got a different opinion or you think I'm all wet, you can always give me a call at 877-977. Let's see, 877-9. 669. I can't even remember my phone number today. 8779. Yeah. I'll think of it in a minute. Okay. I don't know why I can't remember that today. 877-979. For whatever reason. Okay. And what else do we have out here? First question is take a look at the Mr. Softy. No. Dyslexia, a cure for found. Dyslexia, a cure for found. It's not that. I just have the order out. And I've suffered with dyslexia since I was really, I think, at about the second or third grade. Mine went a long time ago. 877-927-6648. See, just eventually, I'll finally figure it. 877-927-6648. Okay. Hopefully that was the right one. Okay. And in the meantime, if anybody has their devices up, Alexa, play Baby Shark. I'm just waiting to hear from somebody where that actually works. Okay. Okay. Oh, hey, we looked at Apple. We looked at that. Okay. Okay. Question from Ron about XLE. And he says, actually holding fairly good. Again, the low fuel prices are probably at the end of going lower. There is a confluence of events. Part of that is the huge amount of strategic petroleum reserve fuel that's been hitting the market. Another is a lot of, especially up north, where it gets too cold to pump some of the fuel. We're trying to get it out the door and into the market while they could still pump it. Again, especially other places, wanted to get anything they could out the door into where it has to be transported by train and down to the facilities where they can dump it off and get paid for it. So there's been over the last 30, 60 days a handful of stuff. Of course, in Russia, the looming, I think it's December the 7th or 8th, maybe it's the 12th. I'll have to look it back up. According to them, Europe is supposed to, of course, boycott Russian oil. So everybody's been buying Russian oil and putting it everywhere they can, in a flower pot or anywhere that they can find to store it. So there's been a huge amount of oil come on the market for a variety of reasons all over the world. And now, of course, many people are starting to look at China and saying, that may be the last straw that broke the camel's back on having a really good, juicy recession next year. So we did gap down today. There's some decent volume. You're not that far from support, about 87. The question is, if you break that, do you go back to 80? Probably. And my thoughts, though, that's probably still the premier sector for the year to come. With the glut of oil, that valve is going to be shut off fairly quick, whether it's Russia or oil from the far, far north, otherwise known as Canada, or up by the borders, especially in the northwest, in some of the shale places where, of course, it has to be heated to get the oil out. A lot of those other things. They start doing maintenance in the dead of winter because, of course, it's cheaper to do it then, and sometimes they just can't even get the oil to flow then. So there's a confluence of events that's made it cheap now. My guess is that we're going to spike back up probably to record highs next year. As all things in the market, it's all about timing. 877-927-6648. 877-927-6648. I've remembered it finally. Okay. Question about Micron from Jeff. And keep them coming, path@tfnn.com, or you can put a message in the den. And then we'll get to Greg for Amazon, which is probably a bank shot out here. Now, the question on Micron, is this the reverse three-gap play? And I would say yes. You're probably going to come down here and fill that high part of the 53 area on Micron. We'll be back in a minute.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
And we'll be back. If they anyway, we'll move on here. Okay. Get some more emails. Okay. Got that. Okay. Did I get it? No. Oh, that's because I'm in the wrong one here. Good afternoon, Dave. Amazon broke above the 3x3, but couldn't hold price. Volume has picked up a little. What are your thoughts, Greg? Ideally, or at least let me put it this way, not ideally. Almost all these stocks that have gaps that came off the lows are coming in and filling those gaps by about half. So, you know, I would say, yeah, $90. And of course, a lot of this weakness probably based on how much stuff Amazon sells, especially in the United States and in Europe, that comes from China and the never-ending lockdowns over there and what that's going to do to the supply chain for Amazon. And I think more than anything, even the recession, I think the ability to actually get some of these things that they've been selling is the dark cloud cover over Amazon. Okay. What else we have here? Okay. Okay, we'll go through a few of those, just catching up on our emails here. Okay. Taking a look at CCJ. And what are my thoughts on that? Well, you're still going to need energy, and I don't see anything else changing. You're going to need a lot more sooner rather than later. Most of the price depreciation in Cameco is based on them buying Westinghouse and the large debt that they required. On the whole, I think it's a good idea that they did it. Long term, short term, nobody likes stocks that have any debt going into a recession. The fear is they'll always have to sell more shares to raise cash. But it doesn't look as bad as one would think. And again, I think all you really need is energy costs to get to go back up a little bit. And we're probably going to be done with a consolidation. It may take the first earnings quarter or two to get some faith in this company. So I'm not saying that it turns around instantly, but probably by springtime, maybe May of next year, I think that will all have sorted through. They'll actually have the books all together on Westinghouse and their nuclear facilities. But I think it makes a lot of sense for them long term. But again, no one wants to be in a company accumulating debt into a recession. Okay. Let's go to that. Okay. And see. What else do we have? Okay, we looked at Microsoft, NFLX. And then we have a question to look at Paramount. Again, like I said, a lot of these stocks look like they're going to find their lows back at halfway into previous gaps or into double gaps. For Netflix, it looks like that'd be about 262. Let's see what else we have here. So, okay. See if there's anything else. You are coming back down on light volume. But again, fairly tough. Let's take a quick look at Disney. You popped on that news. You've tried to keep higher. This kind of looks like it wants to settle out around 95 in the short term. But you're holding a little higher here. They did finally publish numbers on some of the movies over the weekend. I thought it was very interesting to see that what blockbusters can actually make and what dogs lose on in the movie theaters. And then we'll look at Paramount when we come back to Paramount. Paraglobal. Okay. Anyway, for the winter, it looks like right now the Top Gun sequel made $1.5 billion, and they think by the time it's done, it will make $2 billion. And that was the winner of the year for movies. For the loser of the year, Buzz Lightyear, total investment was about $420 million. It only brought back $200 million. So one of the bigger losers of the year for Disney. Don't have a lot of volume here. They've got some other movies coming out. But again, I think there's just overall, there's way too much stuff and not enough viewers. We're going to have to settle. Streaming's going to have to settle out. There's still 615 scripted shows in production at the moment in English. There's no way that any single human could watch all of them, or probably even parts of any of them. Just there's way too much content. Of course, almost all of it is average. A handful of stuff probably worth watching. Okay, let's see what else out here. Oh, okay. And then Paramount. We look at that. I mean, this is just back up to resistance. But again, I think shakeout's probably going to happen all over probably the first 2 quarters of next year for streaming services. They really need to cut a lot of fat, a lot of shows that no one's watching, and not much volume out here. Probably Paramount does look one of the better set up for next year, that being a good house in a bad neighborhood already.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
TFNN has launched The Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And anyway, what else do we have going on as we get ready? As I said, it's a lot of time to hurry up and wait. Many of the people that I see prognosticate about what's going to happen in the market. I don't pay a lot of attention to, but they all tend to share one brain after a little bit and talk each other into things. Probably the thing that I found most interesting this morning or throughout the day is that they're really going to wait and see what the PPI numbers are next week. And that makes me think that probably not a lot of people wanting to get ahead of this. So we could probably, at least unless Powell says something on Wednesday, could continue to see weaker markets through that. Maybe gives maybe just a little crack of a silver lining on a fairly black cloud, and that's enough to people do that. Or maybe they're just done with selling for the year. You never know. But it doesn't look like that 4,100 is probably going to hit. I thought that was kind of the high for the year anyway. And resistance really comes in at about 4,000, I think, now on the S&P for the rest of the year. But could we come down and then bounce back up to that into Christmas? We could. But man, the risk is fairly high, especially through last week where a lot of people were squeezed out of their short positions. So we do gap lower. You could see that in the Amex trend, which I publish every day in the Path of Least Resistance, my newsletter, which you can go to the front page of TFNN and sign up for. So, what else do we have to say? That's kind of it. Start looking for volume into Wednesday and Powell. Maybe that is a little bit of place where they might find a low, but I'm not very bullish until at least then. So when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you tomorrow.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible